Are you going to fill out the sheet?
Yeah, I'm filling out the sheet.
Payne said he wanted to be able to see who rolls more often. Now that we actually have it written out, it's a lot of me.
It is a lot of you. But it's okay.
I've been told I have really good luck with dice. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Payne.
I can't believe it's been like forever since we talked. Are we even friends anymore?
Shh, all I know is it's only been 1 week.
I realized my camera was completely off center.
What, you didn't want to give an avant-garde angle?
Whenever I think of avant-garde, it reminds me of this game called D4. And there was this, pretty much it was like when those Telltale games were very popular, so someone made a game like it, and I think it's better than...
I do like D4 a lot, and they said that there would be more, and they never came out with more.
I know, it's so sad. The way it ends, you're just like, oh my goodness, and then just not enough people. I think it was the best iteration of that style of game, but there was just that one character that was really into a mannequin and would just be like, avant-garde!
Yeah, I think unfortunately for Western audiences, they did not appreciate the writing style of it. Because to me, it felt very much like those animes where you're like, is that character like actually seeing this, or does this character actually need a lot of help? Because there was a lot of obscure things happening in that game. To me, I thought it was hilarious, but I'm sure if people didn't know what they were expecting. Plus, I think I played it free through like on my Xbox as like either Game of the Month or one of those like little thingies.
Yeah, I think it would do better now. Like as you said, just with the way people interact with media. Well, the way I think a lot of people are a little bit more accepting to that like animated overreacting kind of stuff. So I think it would probably do better now, but I don't think the guy wants to do it. Fun thing though, because it's Swery's the guy who made it. He also made, well, one of my favorite video games, Deadly Premonition, and in Deadly Premonition 2, there's multiple scenes that happen in that apartment.
It's all same universe in some way, or at least you can believe it is.
Well, Kaysen, the detective that just comes over and like makes food and just eats everything that's in there. He's just like that overweight old guy that shows up. He's in every game.
Oh, okay, the reoccurring character.
Yeah, he's in the Deadly Premonition series, so that's why people are like, it's connected. Anyway, that's something completely different.
Just a little bit of a tangent. I mean, for all people know, you could have made that story up, much like the main character in the movie that we just watched for this week's episode.
Hey, don't be an egg.
Man, if you guys haven't caught from the title, this week we watched A Boy, written and directed by Taika Waititi. It is my birthday month, and I picked this director, and unintentionally, I just think of the director as being very good at comedy, and I always forget if someone's good at comedy, they're also good at films about the human condition, because usually you don't end up funny if you're not observant of other people. And I had like a slower day at work the other day, so while I was waiting for like things to build and things to like work, I put it up on my other monitor because I work from home, and it got to the last like 20 minutes and I was like, I can't cry on working hours, can I? I don't think I can get paid to cry on working hours. Because it, like, I don't know. It's definite, like, if you watched What We Do in the Shadows, watching Boy afterwards is, like, it makes sense, but also I wasn't prepared.
Because What We Do in the Shadows was my only thing I saw of his. And so I was expecting a little bit more of the humor. I wasn't expecting, I guess, New Zealand Ladybird. Which I don't think that's a fair assessment of the two, but it was just more of like a coming of age kind of
Yeah. And
story.
it's I like the best way I can think of putting this. So I used to not read any YA books, but then I saw enough recommended that I was like, fine, I'll give a couple of these a shot. And there are a lot of really good ones. Like I recently finished the trilogy, Ending Fire trilogy, and that's YA, but that feels like it's written more for like if you're like 17 and older, so it doesn't the characters don't feel that young. But there have been other YA that I've read that it kind of feels like how this movie is, where a lot of those really touching YA stories can be the ones where it is from like an 11-year-old's perspective, and you reading it as an adult, you're like, oh, I wish they would grow up, but at the same time, you're like, no, wait, you shouldn't have to. Like, I don't know. It's a very, I guess for me, so not to say that I didn't think Taika could write and direct something complex, but there's a lot more happening than I think the movie initially suggests. Because the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh, is there going to be a music video? And I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
it just took a long time to get there.
Michael Jackson. We're going to go out and see Michael Jackson.
Live. No, but I'm glad that I finally got to watch this. This was, like you said, I think you said another one of these movies for this month has been on your to-watch list for a while. I know.
I think it might be the next one. I'll find out.
Okay. But Boy was one of those.
So it's the last one.
The last one, okay.
Stop blinding myself.
Yeah, Boy is one of those that I always heard as like a good movie to watch. I was explaining it to Strider because I was like, remember we watched Moonlight? Yeah. Yeah. And he was like, oh, it felt that sad? I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like as much as I want to kind of like build up the expectation for people, like there are ha-has, but they're more of that humor that I like in, say, British television, where you're like, it's funny because it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did a really good job of writing awkward children.
Yeah, the kids feel like kids, and the adult children feel like adult children.
Mm-hmm. What's the line? Just like, can I have some shaved ice? Like, no, get a job. I can't. You own them all. And she's just like, whatever.
I love the sign that she has too. Is really funny. And I think it's kind of just like there's a lot of movies that I feel like do great jobs of reminding people that how do I say it? My brain is not picking the words, even though I got off work early. Like, I had to run to appointments and stuff, and I sat in traffic on the way back, so my brain's, like, half here. But this is one of those movies that I definitely feel like is great as, like, a reminder to be like, hey, maybe let's think about other people once in a while. Because, man, there's a lot of selfish characters in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, at least they had consequences to their actions.
Yeah. Some may say not enough.
I mean, we can get into that when we get into Spoiler Town. But before Spoiler Town, are you ready to roll some dice?
I guess. I gotta figure out which one.
Yeah, maybe not some dice. Maybe one die in particular.
The question is, I rolled one, like, while I was setting it down, but it wasn't intentional.
If you want to keep the number, I can't tell.
No, because if I did it on a low number, I would have been like, oh, that wasn't my real roll. I don't know. It goes back and forth. But hey, if you guys are wondering why we're rolling dice, it's because we're big old nerds, and we are rolling D12s because we're watching 12 different directors for this month. We're on month number 5, so this is our 5th director. Oh, man, I wish I thought of this when we first started rolling this. It'd be the closest to whatever number or director we're at on.
We're a lot of episodes in. That
I
is
know.
unfortunate.
I know.
You probably would have had a lot more chances to talk during your birthday month.
I don't remember what I rolled, but I'm
I
not going to
kept
change
rolling
it.
really high.
Yes. So, but I'm not going to change that now. But yeah. So, whoever gets the highest will give a quick synopsis of the film.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler free, and then we will have some questions, and then we'll jump into Spoiler Town. I gotta sneeze.
Hey everybody, D-Payne sneezed.
Okay, nothing came out. Well, air came out, but nothing with it, I think.
Just some germs, that's all.
I rolled officially. I can't read it. Okay, you're going.
I rolled a 4.
I rolled a 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no question in that then. Are you going to fill out the sheet?
Yeah, I'm filling out the sheet.
D-Payne said he wanted to be able to see who rolls more often, and now that we
So
actually
do
have
I.
it written out, it's a lot of me.
It is a lot of you. But it's okay.
I've been told I have really good luck with dice.
You want to know what I rolled by accident on the first one?
Was it a 12?
It was a 10.
It would have been funny if you got the 2 extremes.
Yeah. But I didn't.
That's okay. So,
hey,
yeah.
this is my gift to you. Happy birthday.
Woohoo!
In a month early. But anyway.
But yeah, so basically I believe this movie is set in 1984, and we follow around the 11-year-old main character, and he's Maori and lives in protected lands, and is basically living in like extreme poverty, and is essentially forced to be a parenting role to, I forget, how many cousins does he live with, and his younger brother?
I think it's 5 others.
5 others.
So I think it's 6 total, like him included.
Okay, yeah, because he says they all live with the grandmother of the family, but she has to be away for some time. And we kind of follow him as he has built up his father figure into this really, like, out of this world character that he really admires. And then his dad rolls back into town, and you kind of watch as he realizes his dad isn't everything he made him out to be. So yeah, it's
my money.
It's coming of age. It's listed as a comedy drama movie. I think it lands a lot more in the drama, and I guess I would say any warnings for anyone that's interested in this movie. Again, like, I really enjoy it, but if you have any kind of hard relationships with parents, this could be a difficult watch. If there is death of a parent in it, described and repeated a few different times, and there's, I guess, implied violence to animals, but nothing on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I never winced, but I did almost cry. Surprise!
Yeah, no, I didn't even put that together until right now. I don't know. When I watched this... Let's see, you gotta bring up a calendar.
You did your homework way ahead of time.
Yes, I watched this 2 Saturdays ago when there was a bunch of days off that I had. But then also was, as I mentioned before, was like, my brain was also a little bit distracted.
You had a lot of news yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, so you have questions for me, D-Payne.
Yeah.
Or for us, I should say.
Oh, I'm included? Oh. If this was the only movie you watched by this director, would you watch the rest of their catalog?
A+, 100%. Yeah. There's not a lot of coming of age movies where I can almost see myself in the shoes of multiple characters. And this
The dad?
I can, not necessarily in his behaviors, but in his I guess that, like, it's not that I've ever felt quote unquote as desperate as he has, but I have had those moments where I'm around like younger people that are looking up to me, and I'm just like, I don't know, do this. I'm trying my best here, kid. Is that enough? But I mean, he's supposed to be a full-on parent, so of course his definition of enough is not enough. But yeah, question. Same back at you.
I don't know. Like, when I first finished that, when I first finished the movie, as I said, like, the only thing I watched before was What We Do in the Shadows, and I was expecting more of that kind of, I guess, humor, or at least an earlier take on some of that more what's it called? Not parody, satire,
Like mockumentary.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
not mockumentary, but like more like that kind of, just like that sense of humor and everything. So like, and then watching it was just like, okay, and like when it started off, I was getting now I'm forgetting all the names of the things, the Napoleon Dynamite vibes,
I could see that.
and I hate Napoleon Dynamite
Because it is very much like an awkward, like, school situation for a lot of the beginning. Yeah.
And then as it kind of, once his dad comes back, I'm just like, I'm like, okay, I can see where the story's going, and I can kind of see the path of it. But I'm just like, so if this was the only one, I think I would, but I don't think I would be like super excited. It's like, I'll give it a shot. Like, I don't know. This one, I guess, after watching it and sitting with it for a couple days, I think I enjoyed it more than after when I first initially finished it. And I'm just like, all right.
No, like, that's fair. Because, yeah, I think it's an interesting one to have in the catalog because honestly, the expectation, if you only watched Boy and then you watched What We Do in the Shadows, it would also be like, this is the same guy, and the same for the flip-flop. Like, either way, in either direction, it's, in some ways you can tell it's the same voice, but in a lot of ways it's not the same way to tell a story. So you're kind of like, where's the part that I was... That makes sense.
And it doesn't help that it was like, okay, both the TV show and the movie What We Do in the Shadow was very much the same, like tone and presentation. Did he do Flight of the Conchords? Was he part of writing that?
I don't know if he was a full-time writer, but he has credits on the show, I believe. And I think he might have worked on the movie that ended up being inspired by the show, the Tank versus... or Eagle Shark.
Eagle versus... Yeah. Eagle versus Shark. And so... Yeah, that's something else that, like, I know, like, that was, I guess, him being part of that was something else that I was used to. So it was just, which is also a lot more comedy, kind of, more just like, I don't know how to, my brain can't think of the words, but anyway.
Yeah, for Flight of the Conchords, I would say it's like social commentary hidden behind a lot of comedy.
Yeah. And so, in this one, they don't really hide a lot of stuff. They don't hide behind comedy or anything. It's like, there are funny moments, but it's like from the situations that they're in, or people are just like, you're an adult and you're acting like that. And so it, not like haha funny, it's just like, oh, this,
you can't help but laugh because it's so bad. Like if I was one of the kids in the other family standing there watching him, I'd be like, oh, this is something I'm going to tell somebody later.
It's like, I'm going to have therapy because of this later. But speaking about some of the characters, did you root for any of them?
I went back and forth on a lot of the characters, but I think that's also what I think I really came to enjoy about the story, because real people are complicated and they all have really complicated arcs throughout it. I think the only character I really rooted for 100% all the way through Like, I had moments where I was like, I wanted Boy to be able to have his moments, and then Boy would do something, and I'd be like, all right, we gotta fix that attitude. But the friend who they said is the only girl in their grade that had a job, because she did nothing wrong. Like, she's involved in a business that she's too young to be a part of, but systemic poverty.
Yeah.
And then Boy goes and like ruins her job, and I'm like, she did nothing wrong. She's just trying to be a good friend, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I forget their name. Was it Dynasty?
I think it's Dynasty. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Yes, it is Dynasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did also root for Rocky because I really liked the way they incorporated his imagination into the movie. I thought that was very fun.
Rocky was neat. I also like Dynasty. I'm pretty sure when we get into Spoiler Town, we'll talk more about Dynasty and her kind of role in the movie. I liked Goat.
Leaf.
I was like, I forgot his name, and I couldn't find it.
Leaf is a good character. He
really gets into the character.
Yeah, I think he did the most work to keep the family unit together.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't let anything change them.
He was the in-house therapist.
He kept them grounded.
But no, I would agree. Like those two, I don't know. It's Boy's whole journey though. It's like
it's messy.
It's messy, but it's also like it feels like an actual like if this doesn't feel like someone wrote a 20-year-old and it was like, oh, but they're 11. It feels like this is the tomfoolery and the desires of an 11-year-old, like for looking for like who has a lot of responsibility and then finally has somebody that he's been like dreaming of finally meeting again. Meeting to be in their life and just the struggles of like, oh, don't meet your heroes. So what grade would you give the plot?
You mentioning the way that the beginning is set up, I don't disagree. It is like slow in a way that I don't know if it necessarily like. I guess the beginning does help set up Boy's character for you to see that he is just a kid before everything happens, but it is a bit slower, even though it's only an hour and a half long movie. But overall, I think the way that the story comes together and the way that like you get to watch Boy kind of like you kind of watch his realization of everything, like you said, don't meet your heroes. So I think I'd give it a B plus, because there were some moments that I was like, this feels really drawn out, or there were other moments where I was like, can we sit with this for a little bit longer? Oh, we've already moved on. But yeah, I think I'll land B plus A minus.
Yeah, I think I would be more on the B minus C plus side for me personally.
That's fair.
And then how likely would you recommend this movie to others?
I would like to, but I don't know. I think this is the kind of movie that it's if you're able to watch it, I think you should watch it, but I feel like I've met a lot of like I've been in therapy for a long time, so I also have a lot of other friends who've been in therapy for a long time, and a lot of it stems from kind of the same thing that Boys had to deal with, where like, when you're 11, you should be allowed to be a kid, and Boy wasn't. So I think it's kind of one of those stories that would be great to watch if you're willing to sit in those feelings. But I've met a lot of other people that have experiences similar, and they're like, I can't watch that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. You do your exposure therapy on your own time. So, I don't know. I really like this movie, but I also like movies that make me hurt. That's my disclaimer.
That should be a series we should do at one point. Movies that hurt, because I also enjoy There's a movie that I really, really like. I watched it years ago, and I remember it being like, this is a movie that doesn't. It's not happy. Like, it's not a happy ending.
The Cell.
No.
I mean, that also wasn't a very happy ending, at least for me.
That wasn't a very happy interaction, like, throughout the whole thing. Oh, shoot. Now I'm blanking on the name. Manchester by the Sea.
You have talked about wanting to watch this for the show.
And I feel like anything I should say, it's like, it has been some time since I watched it, but it's one of those things of just like unwillingly having to go back and deal with things in a past that the main character tries to put behind him. And it's like it's not a happy watch. I'll just say that. But I remember watching it, and it was like kind of, and I will fully admit that I might also be giving it a better grade than it deserves, because it was one of the first movies I watched that wasn't like, when I was starting to get into movies that weren't like, oh yeah, action robot destructoid, which I still watch those movies, but it was like
kind
realizing
of like the first moment you remembered being like,
not the
movie.
first one, but it was one of the earlier movies that I watched that wasn't like a horror or an action. It wasn't like a summer blockbuster. This one was like, okay, we're telling a story. So, I don't know how well it would hold up in time, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I still
another time probably.
I would like to watch it at some point again. But anyway,
Would you
would I recommend
it?
I was like, yeah, I closed the the thing, and I was like, what question are we on? I think it's the same. Like, I think I would watch it again with people. I don't know if I personally have been like, I think if something came up in conversations where we were talking about the subject matter or something like that, then I would be like, hey, this movie does show that a version of that story that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. But for me personally, I don't think I could be like, hey, you should go watch Boy. The brother has powers.
He's such a cute character. He's so innocent.
It's which, hey, if anyone listening to the podcast wondered why I went quiet for a second, you'll just have to go click on the YouTube video. So, but yeah, but no, I can't think of anyone that without like talking about that subject matter or that kind of story or that kind of thing that I would offhandedly recommend. Unlike the thing I recommended to you earlier today. But yeah. Well then, if we have nothing else, shall we go to Spoiler Town?
I think it is time. Do you have the timer ready?
Yes. I just have to turn my phone back on. My phone is dying, so it's like, I think, I'm just hoping it can make it to Memorial Day.
When you said dying, I thought you meant battery. I didn't think you meant
no, like,
end days.
Yeah, I opened it up and like an app, and it was like just like everything shut down. I'm like, oh,
that's no good.
And then I would just try to open up the text messaging thing, and it'd be like, okay. I'm like, oh my goodness, why are you running like you're trying to get your gut over like a cliff and pull yourself up? Anyway, yeah, I'm going to start the timer. This is your last chance if you guys don't want to be spoiled for this movie from 2010. At least that's what it says on the movie poster that I keep seeing on
Wikipedia. It says parentheses 2010.
Yeah. And so I'm going to start the train to Spoiler Town in 3, 2, 1. Ba-doo!
Oh, new train noise unlocked.
It's a laser train.
But yeah, so what moment for the movie for you was the most like cringe awkward? I think mine was when the dad says he's gonna confront his school bullies.
Ugh. I was like, oh my gosh, dude. I was like, I was just waiting for him to get rocked, like just get beat up.
The like I can imagine his dad was like, I'm gonna swing and I'm gonna look like a crazy pirate with my machete in my mouth, and like the actual execution of it, and it's just him like fumbling with a 1 foot in a rope, and like he can't even stab the knife into the tree, and I'm just like, oh, that kid's gonna get so bullied after this.
Yeah. But then, like, it does almost a 180 where it's just like they're having the party at their place, and
The boy's over, yeah.
Yeah,
The bully.
the bully is, or the bully's older brother is invited over. Is it?
The older brother. I think his name's Holden.
Yeah.
Because he's also the one that starts dating his crush.
Yeah. Chardonnay. But yeah, it was that, like, I'm like, oh my goodness, like that was just, I'm like, I guess because I guess Napoleon Dynamite is also that like cringe humor kind of stuff. Would you place it into that? Or?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I definitely see the more so when he's at school being that Napoleon Dynamite feeling.
Yes.
Like when he's like, Chardonnay, you want to check out my dance moves? Like that specifically feels very Napoleon.
And I guess I just don't like that. I don't enjoy that humor because I'm just like, hey, cool. But yeah, I thought the opening was fun where it's just like, hey, here, I'm gonna do this, and like my dad's in prison. When he gets out, he's gonna go take me to see Michael Jackson live, and just like Michael Jackson, and it's just like that was making me laugh a little bit, and then very quickly, which I think sets up an ongoing theme through the movie, where he gets in trouble because the bully, who's, I forget his name, says something about
Kingi, I think. Kingi,
Yeah.
I believe.
I'll agree. When he says something about his mom, he gets heated, and he's the only one that gets punished
In trouble,
for it.
yeah.
And then it's like he's cleaning up, and then the teacher comes out, and he's just like, oh yeah, I knew your dad. And he's like, oh. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you has a lot of potential. He's like, what does that mean? And then he's like, I'm off the clock. I don't got to teach you. And it's just like, what?
Yeah, and I think the thing to point out as well is it is a white teacher in a native school. So the teacher is very much like, I don't care about these kids.
At least that one. I don't know. So he does that, and he pieces out. And it's just I don't know. And then it was like there was moments like when the Shogun.
I know they brought the book out. I was like, how are they going to bring this into the story? And then I was like, oh, he thinks he's cool.
Yeah, it was like a different version of I'm the cool mom from Mean Girls. It's just like, no, you can trust me. I'm the cool mom. It's like,
I think it's kind of a very different character.
no, I'm saying it's like how I'm not saying they were the same, but just like how she was like, I'm a cool mom. You can listen to me. You can tell me your stuff. But it's him. He's like, yeah, I'm the cool dad. I'm just cool.
Yeah, I don't like when I think of the Mean Girls mom, she does it because she wants to stay young. I feel like the dad and boy does it because he
wants the respect.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to actually be a respectful human being.
Mm-hmm. He never grew up.
No, and he comes in with his own gang of 2 other guys.
Yeah. So, but
I felt like the whole scene too that I thought was like awkward enough that I kind of had to laugh at it was when they first pull up to the house and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Hi," he's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Alamane." He's like, "Well, I'm your dad." He's like, "Oh," he's like, "Yep. Do you want tea?" "Sure." I was just like, oh, this feels so like the awkwardness. You could cut it with a knife. And then also the bit that came back later that made me laugh was the guy's like, if I was a proper robber, I would go and like take all the copper from the house. And I was like, please don't tell me they steal copper from a house that's full of children. Please tell me they don't. And then when that comes back around later, I'm like, oh, no one taught him how a microwave works. They do all think it's a TV, which is very funny.
yeah. Well, like when they first came in, I was like, oh, are they just pretending to be his dad so that way they can find like, I don't know, like they're laying low and all that stuff? Because I never look up anything for these movies that we watch.
Either.
So like my first reaction just watching it was like, that ain't his dad. I'm like, there's no way. It turns out I was right, but like he biologically was his dad, but he wasn't his dad.
He wasn't a father. He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was like I was still waiting for like the whole thing where it's just like, because when they brought all the gifts in, I was like, oh, I guess so. And then I'm like, no, this probably was like something they stole and they're just like bringing it in here and all that. And I think it was like the moment where I was like, oh, they're actually related was when he drives him into town to make him like to make Boy look cool, and he's like, okay, get out, I gotta go do stuff. And he's like, what? and drives away. And then the lady, the store front lady was just like, oh, your dad's back? And he's like, yeah. You go see your mom? No. Typical. And so I was like, okay. And then like the uneasy feeling of like, is this dude just pretending to be his dad went away. It was like, oh, he's just trash.
He's just a terrible person. Yeah. I know. And then when he's even like, he's such a bad father figure that he's like, you know what? When I was 11, I wish I could drink beer, and like gives him beer. And I'm like, ugh. Like there's got to be like a bare minimum handbook, and that can't be like. And then he gets like drunk enough at the party in front of his son that he starts like bragging and stuff, and even his like buddies in the gang are like, yeah, this is too much for us. And I was like, the beginning of the story where everyone starts turning on this guy.
Good for them, though. At least they saw it then, and they took all the marijuana and left.
It took a long time for them to actually make a move. It took them getting their butt beat, which I actually really like that in order to handle, you know, the trauma of seeing his like father beat to a pulp. He imagined the Michael Jackson music video instead.
Yes. Yeah. and I was just like, oh, okie dokie. And then, like, every time like there's anything that like shows dancing or a music number, I just I'm like, oh, Hop will like this because of
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee.
Yeah. But I also just liked it because it felt like an interesting way. Because, like, Rocky very early on has his moments where, for him to cope with a lot of things happening, he has his drawings where he draws himself having superpowers. It felt like for Boy, his equivalent was Michael Jackson.
Yeah. The other thing was just like, oh, cut your hair like to look like Michael Jackson, make it look like that. And then it was just so like, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm really glad I know how to cut my own hair.
It felt so bad. He's sitting there touching like the bald patch that's in the side of his head, and he's constantly touching it, but he wants to like seem cool for everybody else.
Yeah. And it was like, man, he had like really like good hair at the like beginning of the film too. And then stinking Taika Waititi comes in.
Ruining everything.
Let's see. Yeah, there was a whole other thing when they were doing I think it's stick and poke tattoos, where they're doing the needlework, and he's like, oh, you ready for yours? And he's like, no. He's like, sure. He's like, nah, I'm just joking. You're gonna get uh the
Kids
kid
version.
version. Yeah. And then it was just like, okay, and it's just like terrible drawings like all over him. And then it's like,
On the front said front.
oh, I missed that. Like the whole thing was just like he does that, and then he's like he sees his dad's jacket and goes into town. Everyone's like, oh man, look how cool he is and everything. And this is pretty much when he can't find. This is after he finds his dad's money by accident. At this point, the
He's bragging about having the money to finally buy the ice pop that he's been asking his aunt for a free one for the whole movie.
but this was like the first it was like right before this was the first instance when he's no longer looking at Shogun or his dad like in a respectful, starstruck manner, because I can't remember what happens right before then. There's
So let me think.
something.
So
Yeah, I'm trying to
he
remember. There's
runs.
something that
Oh,
happens.
they witness him on the phone begging
Oh,
the
that's
grandmother
right.
for money,
Yeah, and then pretty much he's like, I don't care about these kids. Like,
and then starts punching the wall and everything, and it's
yeah. And so that there's that, and you can still tell like boy wants still wants that relationship with his dad.
Yeah. Even to the
But
point for stealing weed for him, because that's the
yeah,
only time his dad is nice to them, unfortunately.
yeah. And and then that's when he gets the money. He sees like the jacket left there, and he's like, oh yeah, puts it on, and that's when he's trying to act all cool in front of his friends. And that's when he finds out that the bully is dating Chardonnay, which right, like not that she was ever interested in him, but it's just like
She just thought his dad's car was cool.
well, and then he takes his dad's advice on how to impress her, and
It's awful.
yeah, it's this thing. No, the sparklers earlier, uh, but but yeah, then he's there, and then like he's acting cool. Everyone's like, "Oh man, is it cool?" He's like, "Yeah, I could probably put in a good word." And then it's like, "Oh man, how long is this lie going to go for?" Immediately ends with the dad
His dad
driving
drives
in.
back, yeah.
It's like, "What are you doing with my jacket?" And like rips it off him like in front of everybody, and he's just like and
throwing
just
a tantrum, yeah.
yeah, throwing a tantrum. And then it's like all this, like the whole reason I was thinking of this, because we get a shot of like, okay, I'm walking back, and like the camera points to him, and they're like, I think Dynasty's like, are you okay? He's like, I don't want to talk, just whatever. And he starts walking home, and written on his back is, I am egg.
Yeah, and you see it too when he's like in the outdoor bathtub later and he scrubs
Yeah.
it off, which is, I'm sure, imagery for him, like being like, I don't like my dad anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I think amongst that scene as well, the part I really liked is the boy's aunt, or Taika's character's sister-in-law, comes out and is just like, he's a kid, what are you doing? He's like, he's a thief, he's like stealing my stuff, he's like touching my stuff, where to get his money? She's like, he's 11, you're supposed to be an adult, like
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah. An adult actually comes out and is an adult in a movie. So yeah, and then after that it's just like he, as you said, like he washes it all off, and it's just like you can tell that he's like heartbroken, and that's when he kind of goes back. Is that when he goes back into the taking care of his,
He has,
or is
I
that when he
believe,
goes and finds out that that Leaf ate all the money?
I think he finds out Leaf ate all the money and he's trying to pretend things are okay for a little bit. And then I forget what the final straw is off the top of my head. But there's the final straw where he goes and he slaps his dad. Because it all boils over where he's like, You weren't there for mom when everything happened. You haven't been here. Who are you even? Why are you just trying to take from everybody around you? And then he slaps him a bunch. And then I think that's when he has his like montage of him trying to fix everything that he had done. Because Boy kind of sees and realizes that a lot of the people around him are getting really hurt by his dad being around. Like he's right before the fight at the bar over the weed, he sees. Oh, I think his breaking point was when his dad steals the bushels, tries to sell it, and then Boy sees that Dynasty has gotten hurt because of it.
Yeah. Dynasty gets hurt, and then I think he's pretty much like, okay, I'm over my dad. But then he starts seeing Rocky kind of getting pulled into that, and that's when he's like, no. Like, that's... Because Rocky's like, I killed my mom or something like that with my powers.
But that's what, yeah, he said
that's
that.
what he believes. And
he said Boy told him that, too.
Yeah, Boy told him that, and then, yeah, his dad's just like, what? And everything. And then, Rocky's being Rocky, and then, what was it? Because I think it's at that point, like...
Oh yeah, they have Rocky in the car and they're coming back from the bar after the fight, and like Boy gets into the fight. Yeah, but Boy gets in the fight with his dad, where his dad's like, "We won that fight," and Boy's like, "No," and he's like, "No, tell me we won that fight." And because they're all yelling about who quote unquote won the fight, when of course Taika and his gang members are covered in so many cuts and bruises, they just go, "Oh, it's just a stupid dog," and Boy wants to get out of the car, but Taika's character is like, forget about it.
He does get out, doesn't he? I thought
he does, but he tries to go find out what it is, and Taika gets out of the car and yells at him like, "It's just a stupid dog. Get over it. It's not important." Mm-hmm. But Rocky and Boy can both tell that it was, somewhat important to them. So yeah, that's the breaking point. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's there's an interesting scene that's in there, I guess. I can't remember if it's when it is. There's two sections. One, it's in the beginning where Boy is remembering all the times with his dad and his mom together, and just like, and he's telling Rocky, he's like, yeah, no, like, mom was great and all this stuff, and just saying how good dad was. And then we go see what it was actually like, and the dad was never there at any of the instances. It was always like, when it feels like at that moment, it's just Boy realizes like, no, he was never there. He was never there when we needed him. Mm-hmm. It's just always like
him and mom
like trying to look out for each other and for Rocky and the other kids. And so,
yeah, because there's even the one part where Boy tells Rocky like, Rocky's like, "Can you tell me about mom again?" And Boy's like, "Yeah, they met on the beach. That's how they fell in love. She was drowning. Dad saved her." Like this heroic story. And they're at the beach, and Boy's like, "Isn't this where you saved mom and fell in love?" And he's like, "What? No, we met in school." And Boy's like, you start to see his face starting to make the connections like, wait, that's not what I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then, yeah, he has all the flashbacks right before he goes and confronts his dad, where, like you said, all the times where he thought his dad was there, he wasn't. Mm-hmm.
So,
because even in the beginning, they have an early scene showing the mom having passed away
on the deathbed, yeah.
Yeah, and that the dad is there, like, looking sad, and you're like, wow, that must be really tough for the family. And then he has the memory again, and the dad's not there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's really tough for the family.
Yeah, because, like, at first it's like, okay, like, if the love of your life dies in such a traumatic manner, like...
It's easy to want to run away,
It's easy to run away, and it's, like, not that it's permissible, but it's like, okay, it's...
If you don't have the help, then it's hard to come back, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah. So it's like, okay, I don't agree with your actions, but, like, it could have been something... Because at that point, all that we know is pretty much we're in the same shoes as Rocky, as Boy is just telling him everything of how good his dad is.
Yeah, he's a pearl diver, he's a carver, he's all these like extravagant like jobs all across the world and all those types of things. I really yeah, I like how there were clearly like pieces of truth in it because his dad finds Boy carving something and like gives him tips on carving
Yeah.
and like looks at it and like talks about it. So like Boy's imagination has gone wild, but only because like how long has it actually been since he's seen this man? Because he didn't even recognize him. He was just like, "Oh, I'm named after you. I guess you're my dad."
Yeah. And it's like the trinkets of truth that like we see come out, like the carving and like when he's talking about Shogun, like just like that beginning scenes where it's just like it's like, oh, is he kind of helping out, cleaning out? And it's just like you can kind of see why people find him like attractive to be around, and like his charisma
Big
pulling people
personality.
around and
Yeah.
everything. It's only once you get past the like the centimeter crust of his personality to see the truth of himself, you're just like, oh, like
He doesn't actually care about anybody but himself. Yeah. I will say, I did really like the reoccurring theme of spoons that I did not expect. In the very beginning, when you mentioned the bully is like, "Oh, your dad's in jail. He's in the same cellmate as my dad." And Boy's like, "No, my dad escaped." He's like, "How?" He's like, "Oh, he dug his way out with a spoon." And you have this like whole montage of that you don't clearly see the face of the character, but he goes and throws a spoon at a guard's eye, and the guy that gets hit with the spoon is the one human in What We Do in the Shadows.
yes. Oh shoot, Stu.
So, yeah, and
I
then,
saw that too, and I was like, hey,
it's him. And then throughout the movie, like I noticed there was so Boy has the moment where he tries to melt down the copper doorknobs in the microwave and ends up breaking the microwave because again he doesn't have an adult to teach him what any of this is. But when he goes to put the doorknobs back on, he's using a spoon, and I was like, oh, that's fun. And there were some other, like, one or two other things where a spoon was, like, prevalent in the scene. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect this to be reoccurring, but that's actually interesting. It probably means something, and I'm not picking it up right now. I think the other thing is, like, as, like, hard as it is to watch his dad be a terrible human being, I thought it was so cute when all the kids were like, "Yay, we have our caretaker back," and they were all helping him like fix the house after it was destroyed, and they were like, "I'm gonna put art in front of the hole in the wall," and I was like, "Oh, kids, you're all too young. You shouldn't be doing this."
Yeah, where they're just trying to get it all fixed up, and it's interesting the beginning when the grandma leaves and when the grandma comes back, because like you can tell, like, Boy at the beginning, he's just like, hey, well, I'm in charge, let's do this. He's like, I got the responsibility, I'm the man of the house, like, kind of thing. And then at the end, he's just like, he has aged just from this weekend alone dealing with his child of a father.
Yeah, and like I did like that the only interaction we had with a grandmother was the one-sided conversations.
Yeah.
Because you could fill in the blanks pretty easily, but yeah, it was so, like, I felt so bad that Boy had to overhear. It's like, yeah, I'm spending quality time with him. Yeah, like, you know, going to the beach and, like, that. So, give me money now?
Yeah. Yeah, there's just all that, and then there's the whole time, like, where because like Rocky's like, yeah, I got superpowers and all that stuff, and then like whenever he would try to do stuff against anybody, it never worked, but anytime he did something against his dad would like trip up or hurt himself or something. I'm like, is this just a strange coincidence, or does he actually have
secret powers?
Does he actually? But it's only directed towards his dad.
No, I thought that was very cute because I like how he would always scare himself if something seemed to work.
Yeah.
But then that made it more sad for me when he was like, when they were all yelling in the house and he wanted the house to swallow everybody whole, and he was like, oh, I guess I don't have powers. I was like, no, not now. Not when he needs it. He looks so sad looking in the mirror, realizing, that kid feeling where you're like, I'm pretty sure I don't actually have powers,
Yeah.
but coincidences make it seem like I have something for myself to protect myself from all the bad things happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the bad thing is happening and he's like, oh, yeah, I guess I don't have powers. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there's, and I think it's interesting, like in the beginning of the movie, Boy is telling the lies of his father, and then afterwards, he's, whether it's good or not, is protecting, is in an attempt to protect Rocky, is like, no, our dad didn't leave us. He went to Japan to train as a samurai.
I know, and then his dad comes back immediately, and Rocky's like, how's Japan?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just liked the way that I think the actors were able to pull it off because they're also young.
Mm-hmm.
But to see Boy in the very beginning where he's all smiles, he's all excited, he's very much like a kid trying to be a kid. And then at the end of the movie, like you said, he's aged. Like, it has not been a year, but he has bags under his eyes now, and he doesn't smile in the same kind of way. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
poor kid.
Yeah. We only have a couple minutes left, but it's just like at the same time, like that we said we would mention like the dynasty,
Yeah.
where it's just like it's very clear she's interested in Boy, or at least the
She's jealous, at least, at the
yes,
attention he gives Chardonnay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the one time I was like, oh my goodness, I feel so bad for her. It's just like he's showing off the
Yeah.
the sparkler. He's like, I'm saving for a special occasion, and Chardonnay's like, hey, can I? And he's like, I guess that was the special occasion, and you
And
can
they're all just watching her.
yeah, and like you just see Dynasty in the background, just pissed, just like what the heck.
Yeah, and then she's unfortunately like early in the earlier scene, it looks like she's been made like one of the guys because she's even forced to sit there on the stoop with them as they're like, yeah, I make out with girls all over the place, and she's just like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it feels like she has gone through what Boy has earlier than Boy, because like the I don't know, she also like the way she acts and moves around, just like, and has to take care
It
of
does
her
feel
mom.
mature.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
she's just like she's also carrying weight that an 11-year-old shouldn't carry, and it's like at the end of this it feel like they don't go into it, which I'm glad they don't, but it's just Boy has like at least kindred spirits where he's just like, hey, I've been a jerk, here's that sparkler, like, or that I've been.
Yeah, I think that's another thing I appreciate where in the resolution for a lot of the things that boys realize, it doesn't feel extreme. Like some movies I'll watch and they're like, to fix all my problems, I have to throw a big party and like pay all these people back. But instead, in Boy, he's like, I don't have a lot of things, so I'm going to try and do something nice for each of these people that I know that have gotten hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And his kid brain is like, oh yeah, she asked for sparklers. And for her, you could tell she was sitting on that stoop, like in that house where they used to play tag, and it meant a lot to her, which is also really sweet to see because small gestures can mean a lot if things suck.
Yeah, it's like in that moment you see her kid self return.
Her inner child gets to be. Well,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say inner child. She is a child,
Yes.
but
She no longer has to be the adult, because like
she is also watching a younger. Because when they're out harvesting stuff, she's even like got the kid on her hip. That's
Yeah.
like, can I have it? And she's like, no, this is for grown ups. She's like, but it looks like a lollipop. She's like, no, not for you. You can't have this.
That kid cracked me up. I'm trying to remember what her name was. It was like something.
She's in quite a few scenes, yeah.
Yeah, there's Dallas and Dynasty, and then there was. Is it in the on the IMDb? I don't see it in the Wikipedia. It was because it was.
Is it Kelly?
I don't think so.
The IMDb doesn't have photos.
Yeah, it doesn't have photos, which makes sense. Because it was just like, yeah, it was cracking me up because it was like, okay, we have Dallas Dynasty, and then it was just like a name that didn't fit like the rest of the naming thing. Let's see. If I type in characters, that's not how I spell characters, but
Yeah, first when I typed boy cast list, I got The Boys, and I was like, no, movie, please.
let's see. Falcon Crest?
I think it is Kelly,
It
based
could be,
on this
yeah.
way this website is ordered, because not all of the people are pictured here either.
Mm-hmm.
But they have it right after Dynasty's character, so I would...
It could be.
Yeah.
But, oh my goodness. There, I just saw a picture of boy, I guess, older now. Which, yeah, I guess it would have been 15 years. But, yeah.
Or maybe Kelly is the other cousin that helps him out with stuff. Because, you know, the one that likes to wear, like, the fancy coats.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that's, like, sitting in the party. She's like, this party stinks. And he's like, it's a get-together.
Yeah.
There's, so that could be that character. There's Kiko. I don't remember who that is. Oh, Falcon Crest might be it, actually. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because it was like, I thought it was just like,
Something really out there.
yeah. I'm trying to look on the Wikipedia to see.
Yeah, I don't have any pictures.
It's Kelly. Oh, Kelly's boy same age cousin who lives in the same house with the three. Kelly is the short haired.
Yeah, so that's who I thought it was.
Yeah. Charnay's the boy has a crush on. Dallas, one of boy's best friends. Murray, one of boy's friends from school. Tane, boys. I don't remember who Tane is. It just says boys. Indian
Tane.
friend. Oh, Tane. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the one of the other friend group.
Yeah. And then it goes there. I don't see. Yeah, Dynasty is there. Yeah, they don't have. Let's see. What if I type in boy movie Falcon Crest?
There's so many movies with the word boy in it that it's like hard to... Because there's like 2 or 3 that have popped up that are called The Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing her name is Falcon Crest. Oh well, doesn't matter. But yeah, Falcon Crest cracked me up. Yeah, the time is up, so I'm just wondering, let's see, was there any, I guess, look at some trivia real quick to see if there was in there. Oh, interesting. This is a pretty interesting piece of trivia. Taika was less than a week away from filming when he realized that the person who he had filling the role as boy wasn't working out. So 3 days before filming began, he got James Rolston, who was hanging out as an extra on set, and gave him the lead. This is based off a short film that he did in 2004 called Two Cars, One Night. And This trivia is dumb. The film takes place in 1984, and boy who's born in 1973. Okay.
Wow.
The boy's father was shown escaping prison with a spoon. In 1962, 3 prisoners famously escaped Alcatraz and notoriously the harsh American prison using spoons as a chisel through the concrete walls.
That is right. Oh, I found this quote that I forgot about. I was just looking through the quotes. I think this is really funny. When they're sitting outside like the bar, and it's Dynasty and Boy waiting for like basically their parents to come back out. And Boy's like, "Why does your mom gamble?" And the quote is, "She reckons it's better to risk your money on something big and be real poor than sit around and just being a bit poor."
Yeah. Man. There was some definitely some good ones. There was definitely the one that it's like, yep, these are kids. Now who knows what disease a sheep has? AIDS? Not AIDS, you dork. Like some of these things that I can't remember, like I don't remember what's going on. It's just like Kelly says, "Wow, real milk." That's apparently
It's when they say, "We have gifts. Can you let us in the house?"
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then oh yeah, there's a line you just said. So but anyway, overall, I do think in reflection of this movie, it does, like, I think I would rate it higher than my first time watching it, but it was just like, I still think it's a hard one to recommend to people without like context or talking about something similar. It's still a good. I still think it's a good movie. Like, what did it? I closed the IMDb. What did it get?
IMDb I think has it at
7.5.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, there's a Taika Waititi introduction version that has an 8.6.
Okay. And What We Do in the Shadows. Oh wait, that's a TV show, is it? No, that's the movie. Has a 7.6. So, but anyway.
So, I mean, we got a sneak peek. I just peeked at the IMDb review of the movie for next week's episode.
What are we watching for your birthday month next?
Next is Hunter for the Wilder People, also by Taika Waititi.
I would hope so.
Or Hunt for the Wilder People, not Hunter. I have not seen this. This is one of the ones that I was like, I really want to watch this movie.
Yeah, I think I remember this. Like, I didn't watch it, but I remember seeing trailers for it, and so I am interested in it. So I'll be interested in watching it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it's more like this or more humor based.
I will purposely not look anything up and watch it on Sunday.
Surprises.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm one of those people that like I don't like watching trailers because I like being surprised. Like if
a lot of trailers, I feel like lately put too much stuff in it. Like Strider and I were watching, like we left a YouTube video playing, and on our TV we don't have any like ad remover or anything like that, or ad blocker. So we left it playing on the TV, and it was for like a Netflix show. And we were sitting there, we were like, wait, this ad is like 25 minutes long. What is this, just the first episode? And like it didn't feel like the first episode because it was cut in a weird way. So they were like, who's that? It's my sister. Drama. I'm part of a cult. And Strider was like, are they just going to tell us the whole entirety of the show in this like extended trailer?
And it's non-skippable.
We had to wait 30 seconds for it to skip. So yeah, it felt like it was not skippable.
Yeah, there's that. Excuse me. There's a show coming out. I think it's gonna be on Hulu. It's that Alien Earth, and like stuff is
talked about that.
Yeah, stuff is starting to like trickle out about it, and I'm like, I don't want to know anything. Like, I heard all that I want to know, which is apparently they captured 5 of the most dangerous creatures in the universe, and everyone like that, which I think is a good question, which is like, because apparently this takes place even before Alien, like, and before and it's like, how did they get their hands on a xenomorph? Like, we know it's going to be a face hugger, a xenomorph, and like something in there. And it's like, it can't be David because he went to a completely different part of the universe.
David.
And I was like, I wouldn't be opposed to David came back because he's silly.
Maybe it's just David's head.
Maybe. In Walter's body.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing. But
depends how you make it. I mean, they want to kiss. That could mean something completely different, D-Babe.
Hey. Robots can do whatever they want. They're really strong. I'm not going to tell them no.
Especially when they look like each other and you can't tell them apart. Yeah.
So all that being said, is just like, yeah. But like the big question, which I'm like, you know what? I also have that question, was how'd they get? Because anytime they do try to get, it never goes well.
Everything melt unless molten lava core center of planet.
Yeah,
that only way for it to melt.
Had to do Terminator to it.
Had to mining colony.
Yes. So, yeah.
Spoilers for
Alien
3. Yeah. The mother of all aliens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that comes out this summer. I don't know. All I know is that I'm going to wait for all the episodes to come out, and then I'm just going to get Hulu again for a month and just knock.
Or maybe you could sign up for, see if they're offering the 1-week trials. And then all you do for an entire week is watch Alien.
I don't think I'd be able to do that. I know.
You watched Gravity Falls.
Yes, true. That is true. It's also how I watched Over the Garden Wall.
Well, that's only 10 episodes, and they're much shorter.
And there's
that one's much more reasonable.
It's like an hour and a half. But anyway, that is it. Thank you guys for watching, listening. We'll be back next time with the
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Thank you. And yep, till next time. Toodles.